Well, fans, we apologize for the technical difficulties today. We're working through them as the first pitch is a called strike, and the count is no balls and one strike on Giovanni Alfonso. He's the 9-hitter for the High Point Rockers. The Blue Crabs have a 1-0 lead in the bottom of the third inning. Again, fans, we apologize for some of the technical difficulties we're working through. We're going to try to bring you this broadcast throughout the rest of the game as Southern Maryland looks to get back in the win column after losing 2 out of 3 to Staten Island. We're going to run you through some of the scoring that's happened this far, at least some of the hits. Only one run in this ball game as the 0-2 pitch is fouled off first base side. And the count remains no balls and 2 strikes. Well, the Blue Crabs now sit 3 games back in the North Division. The 0-2 pitch from Thompson is popped up first base side foul. And the count remains no balls and 2 strikes. We'll run you back through some of the defensive alignment for the Blue Crabs, some of the numbers for Daryl Thompson thus far. As the Blue Crabs scored that lone run of the game back in the second inning on a sacrifice fly from Ryan Haug. Pitch. That one is hit up the middle, fielded by Wolanski. The throw to first is in time. He fielded it on the backhand and fired across the diamond. And there is one away. Thompson so far, 2 1/3 innings. He's allowed 2 hits. He has not walked a batter and is not allowed a run. Well, Daryl Thompson has been dealing thus far as the Blue Crabs looking to get back into the win column. Here's the pitch. A little bit upstairs in the count, 1 ball and no strikes. Pitch to Ladendorf. It's a called strike. And the count, 1 ball and 1 strike on the righty Tyler Ladendorf. 1-1 pitch. Breaking ball, swinging a high fly ball to the infield. It's actually a pop-up. It's Wolanski who takes a few steps in and makes the catch, and there are 2 away in the bottom of the third inning. Daryl Thompson allowed 2 hits in the second inning. That's the only 2 hits that High Point has. Was back-to-back hits in the middle of their order. As the Blue Crabs still have that 1-0 lead. The first pitch is low and away in the count, 1 ball and no strikes. Thompson set. Count 2 balls and no strikes after the 1-0 is low and away. Gets a sign from his catcher, Howe. Here's the 2-0 pitch from Daryl Thompson. Called strike on the outside corner of the count, 2-1. On Ben Aklinski, who hits .289 on the season. He has 11 home runs. This is a High Point Rockers team that's got some power in their bats. 2-1 pitch. Line drive foul back to the netting behind the plate. And the count, 2 balls and 2 strikes. High Point has 4 batters with 10 home runs or more. We'll go through that list momentarily. Thompson, the 2-2 pitch. Swinging a foul ball back behind home plate once more. Home run leader, of course, Xander Wheel. A cleanup hitter with 18 home runs, good for 4th in the Atlantic League. Also have 2 hitters with 11 home runs. Ben Aklinski along with Quincy Lattimore both have 11 long shots. And Downs has 10 of his own. Pitch, this one on the ground toward third base, fielded by Crosby. The throw across the diamond is in time for the final out. Well, another 1, 2, 3 inning from Daryl Thompson. We go to the top of the fourth inning. It's the Blue Crabs 1 and the High Point Rockers nothing on the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network. Well, we go to the top of the fourth inning as the Southern Maryland Blue Crabs have a 1-0 lead over the High Point Rockers. We're going to run you through some of the better numbers so far in this ball game. As the Blue Crabs have 3 hits, a single from Braxton Lee, that came back in the third inning, and then a pair of hits, one from Crosby and one from DeLuca. It's Joe DeLuca who leads things off in the top of the fourth inning. Well, we go to the top of the fourth inning. First pitch, swinging a foul tip. Got a piece of it. 1-0 lead over the High Point Rockers. We're going to run you through some of the better numbers. DeLuca goes down to one knee after fouling that ball off, and the count. The Blue Crabs is now actually 1 ball and 1 strike. Single from Braxton Lee, that came back in the third. He readjusts that shin guard on the inside of his right leg as DeLuca bats from the left side. It's Joe DeLuca who leads things off. Joe DeLuca had a single up the middle with runners on first and second with 1 out in the top of the second inning, and so far, first pitch swinging a foul tip. He contributed to the only run in this ball game. It was Ryan Haug who's on deck who drove in David Harris from third base. After fouling that ball off in the count. It was Joe DeLuca's single that loaded the bases, though. That gave Haug the opportunity to drive him in with a sacrifice fly. Shin guard on the inside of his DeLuca set. Right leg takes a couple of half swings from the left side. 1-1 pitch inside. Count 2 balls and 1 strike. 2 balls, 1 strike, nobody out. Top of the fourth inning. He contributed to the only run in this ball game. The inside of that right leg still really bugging Joe DeLuca. That foul ball that, from my angle, appeared that he just hit a foul tip. He must have hit off that right shin guard. Pitch. That's a called strike, and the count 2 balls and 2 strikes. That last pitch from Stem just barely clipping the outside corner. Give you an update on the pitch count for both pitchers. 2 balls and 1 strike. After the 2-2 pitch to Joe DeLuca as he digs back in. DeLuca had a solid series against Staten Island. That right leg still really bugging. Hits in all 3 games. That foul ball that, from my angle, appeared that he just hit a foul tip. He must have hit. Also paired it with 2 home runs. 2-2 pitch, swinging a high fly ball deep left field. Sends the left fielder. That's Xander Wheel back in front of the warning track where he makes the catch. And there's one away. More opposite field power on display from Joe DeLuca. to Joe DeLuca as he digs back in. We apologize for the camera quality tonight. We're working through, again, some technical difficulties based on the restraints that we currently have. As Ryan Haug will step in from the right side. Also paired it with 2 home runs. Haug doing the catching tonight. He's going through a bit of a cold spell. Sends the left fielder in the month of July, hitting 185 pitch. That's a little bit low, and the count 1 ball and no strikes. More opposite field power on display from Ryan Haug. Did best in the months of April and May, where he combined for batting average near 390 pitch, swinging a ground ball, third base side foul. It was very close down that third base line, backhanded by the third baseman Michael Martinez. But earlier this season, at one point, Ryan Haug was doing so well that his batting average climbed all the way to 400 in a series against York. The count 1 ball and no strikes. More opposite field power on display from Ryan Haug. Did best in the months of April. Craig Stem comes into this one with a 3.96 ERA, though his ERA has fallen after he's only allowed 1 run across 3 1/3 innings. He's kept the Blue Crabs bats quiet. Southern Maryland has not found an extra base hit yet in this ball game. 1-1 pitch. That's a little bit away. Count 2 balls and 1 strike. And for that matter, Daryl Thompson has also kept High Point without an extra base hit. For High Point, no runs on 2 hits. For the Blue Crabs, 1 run on 3 hits. This one swinging a line drive into left field for a base hit. As Michael Baca, I beg your pardon, it's Ryan Haug who picks up a 1-out single, and Michael Baca now comes to the plate in the top of the 4th. Blue Crabs have a 1-0 lead. That run came back in the 2nd inning, so now Ryan Haug with an RBI from the sacrifice fly. And a 1-out single in the 3rd inning. It's the Blue Crabs in the 4th inning here. It's the 4th Blue Crabs hit of the day as well, as Baca steps back in. This one swinging a line drive into left field for a base hit. Pitch to Baca. It's away, and the count 1 ball and no strikes on the shortstop. It's Ryan Haug who picks up a 1-out single. Michael Baca, known for his defensive abilities. Last year he hit north of 260 at the plate, but it's the glove that is very consistent. Pitch, swinging a ground ball towards shortstop. Could be 2. On to second for 1. Back on to first. The throw is offline. And Baca safe at first base. It was a bad throw by the second baseman, Tyler Ladendorf. And it results in a runner on first base with 1 out. There's plenty of time to get Baca. And the flip from the shortstop, Giovanni Alfonso, was a good one to Ladendorf, who had time to throw out Baca at first, but the throw was too far up the first base line, and the first baseman, Logan Morrison, had to come off the bag to make the play. Well, back to the top of the order now for the Blue Crabs. Runner on first base and 2 outs. As Braxton Lee digs in. First pitch is in there for a called strike, and the count no balls and 1 strike. Braxton Lee 1 for 2. He saw his batting average hit a season-high 311 in a 3 for 3 game 2 of that series in the 18-1 Blue Crabs victory. Had to come off the bag to make the play. Well, back to the top of the order now. 0-1 offering. Runner on first base, a little bit inside, and the count 1 ball and 1 strike. 1 ball, 1 strike, 2 outs. First pitch is top of the 4th inning. And the count no balls and 1 strike. Braxton Lee 1 for 2. He saw his batting average hit a season-high. Here's the pitch. This one swinging a line drive into right field for a base hit. Bounces in front of the right fielder, Ben Oklinski, on a line drive. It's a well-hit ball by Braxton Lee. It's his bread and butter. Strong contact hitting, and he lined one to right. It's the 5th Blue Crabs hit of the game. The Blue Crabs have 2 on and 2 out here in the top of the 4th. Southern Maryland has not found success in this series with runners in scoring position. Here's the pitch. This one swinging a line drive into right field for a base hit. Blue Crabs have the bases loaded and one out. They managed to get one back in the second. This one swinging a ground ball. Terrific stop by the shortstop. That's Giovanni Alfonso. He stops on the backhand, but he does not have a play. He probably saves a run, though, as he backhanded it toward the third base side. That ball was headed into left field. Would have been an RBI single almost certainly from Michael Wilansky. Either way, it's a first pitch base hit. There's just, as I get one more look at it, it was a terrific stop by the shortstop Alfonso. No way he was going to have a play on that ball. Well, that ball, that goes down as an error. I'd be stunned. By the shortstop. That's Giovanni Alfonso. He stops on the backhand, but he does not have a play. So we await the official ruling, but as he backhanded it toward the third. The official scorer here in High Point might have just called that an error, which would be an RBI single, almost extremely surprising. No, it is going to go down as a hit. It's a first pitch base hit. There's just, as Jared Walker digs in from the left side, first pitch is fouled back. And the count, no balls and one strike on the lefty. That ball. Oh, 1 to Walker. He's a little bit low and in, and the count, 1 ball and 1 strike. Jared Walker in that last homestand, 2 for 18. He did score 3 runs. He did walk 4 times, but he struggled against Staten Island. 1-1 pitch, swinging a high fly ball, left center field. It's the left fielder, Xander Wheel on the run to left center, and he makes the catch for the final out. Well, the Blue Crabs leave them loaded. Unable to buy a hit with runners in scoring position here in the top of the 4th. Southern Maryland still has a 1-0 lead. As we go to the bottom of the 4th, you're listening to Blue Crabs Baseball on the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network. Back with you in the bottom of the 4th inning. Daryl Thompson back out onto the mound. It was a historic day for Daryl Thompson as well today, as he reaches the 100-inning mark for the 8th time his Atlantic League career. Thompson, first pitch. Swinging a high pop-up. Third base side. Crosby fighting the sun. He gives way to Michael Baca, the shortstop, and there's one away as Logan Morrison is a quick out in the top of the fourth inning. Xander Wheel now comes to the plate. Wheel, the cleanup hitter. We mentioned this earlier, but Xander Wheel, top 5 in the Atlantic League in home runs with 18. Daryl Thompson. Now set. First pitch on the big righty wheel. On a wave and a foul ball back behind home plate in the count. All of a sudden, 1 ball and 1 strike. It is possible I might have missed one of those pitches as I was trying to pick up the camera feed there, but the official scoreboard here in High Point marks the count as 1 ball and 1 strike. Now here's the 1-1 pitch from Thompson. That's dribbled foul over to the third base dugout, and the count 1 ball and 2 strikes. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 1 out. Bottom of the fourth inning. So far, High Point has mustered no runs on 2 singles against Thompson across 3 1/3. Here's the pitch. Swinging a high fly ball, deep left field, sends Walker back in front of the warning track. Now where he gets under it and makes the catch for the second out. Very well struck ball from Xander Wheel. Gave that ball a ride down the third base side to left field, and Walker managed to track it down for the second out. Bottom of the fourth inning, the Blue Crabs still leading 1-0 over High Point. Thompson set. First pitch a little bit low on the count. 1 ball and no strikes. Thompson from the chest. 1-0 delivery. Swing and a miss. Count 1 ball and 1 strike now on Quincy Lattimore, who has homered 11 times himself. We'll give you some updates around the Atlantic League in just one moment. Some scores from some other ball games. Let you know how they relate to the Blue Crabs. As the count 1 ball and 2 strikes on Quincy Matt Lattimore. He takes off his helmet, wipes down his forehead. Well, let's give you some of those score updates in the meantime. Lexington and Gastonia, the South Division matchup, even at 1 in the bottom of the 6th. Charleston and Lancaster are tied at 3 in the top of the 4th inning. Pitch, swing and a miss. Strike 3. Daryl Thompson back-to-back 1-2-3 innings. He's retired 7 straight. As we go to the top of the 5th inning, it's the Blue Crabs 1 and the High Point Rockers 0. We'll finish with all the scores and updates when we come back from around the Atlantic League on the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network. And the first pitch is a little bit away for ball one on David Harris as we are underway in the top of the fifth inning. Blue Crabs 1 and the High Point Rockers nothing. We apologize for our limited broadcast setup today. We're doing what we can as the 0-1 pitch, or the 1-0 pitch, is in there for a strike. And now the count 1 ball and 1 strike. One delivery. Fouled off as Harris gets a piece of it and dribbles it over to the third base side. Count 1 ball and 2 strikes. We're going to update you again on all the scores across the Atlantic League here in the top of the fifth inning. 1 ball, 2 strikes on Harris. Here's the pitch from Stem. Swinging a ground ball, third base side. Trouble handling it again. It's the third baseman, Lattimore, who can't quite hang on to it. I beg your pardon, that's Martinez. And there's a runner on first base with nobody out. Ground ball toward third, and Michael Martinez had trouble with it. And so now a runner on first base and nobody out. It's the second error made by Michael Martinez in this game against David Harris. David Harris scored the first run of this ball game, and it came via an unearned run. As David Harris came in and scored off of a sacrifice fly from Ryan Haug, but Harris should never have been on as he reached on an error. It was a pretty hard hit ball, but it still went down as an error. First pitch now to Crosby on the ground toward the right side. Terrific job fielding it by the second baseman. The throw to the pitcher covering Craig Stem is not in time. A single for Alex Crosby was a terrific play, sliding to left field from Tyler Ladendorf. But not in time to get Alex Crosby at first base, who was running well down that line. And there are runners on first and second with nobody out. A base hit for Alex Crosby. It's the 6th base hit of the game for the Blue Crabs, the top of the 5th. First pitch now to Lee, or I beg your pardon, to Collier, as I said moments ago. Collier to be followed by DeLuca. Pitch called strike, and the count no balls and 1 strike. No balls, 1 strike, no outs. Stem the pitch, low into the dirt. Nicely blocked by the catcher, Mike Galino. The count, 1 ball and 1 strike now on Zach Collier. Collier had a terrific game in Game 2 of that doubleheader against Staten Island. There were a lot of guys who put up big numbers, but 6 RBIs in that game from Zach Collier, including a 2-run home run and a 2-run triple. 1-1 delivery to Collier. That's a little bit inside. Count 2 balls and 1 strike. Zach Collier in the month of July hitting quite well. It's his best month of the year aside from the short stint in April where he hit over 400. The month of July, Zach Collier hitting .348. And this one swinging a line drive into right field as a base hit. One stood up a long time, and it looked like there was a chance the right fielder Aklinski was going to get to it. Despite the fact it's a deep single, the base runners are only able to advance 1 base. Either way, it's a single to right field from Zach Collier. From first to second, it's Crosby. From second to third, David Harris. So after Harris reaches on an error from the third baseman, Michael Martinez, it's back-to-back hits to right field. One from Crosby that was actually cut off by the second baseman, Ladendorf. The other from Zach Collier as he ropes one to right. A meeting at the mound as the High Point Rockers are going to try to get things under control as they have spiraled. Things have gotten a little bit ugly Here in the top of the 5th inning for Craig Stem, who is still yet to allow an earned run. He hasn't exactly gotten a lot of help from his fielders, who have been charged with 3 errors in this ball game. Well, it's going to be Joe DeLuca who comes to the plate. DeLuca hitting the ball especially well recently. That 3-game hit streak in the series against Staten Island, he was 3 for 7. Pitch, swinging a high fly ball, deep right field. This one sends the right fielder, Aklinski, back in front of the warning track where he makes the catch, tagging and scoring from third base. It's David Harris, who comes in and scores the second run of the game in virtually an identical circumstance to the last time around. A couple of sacrifice flies, and both times David Harris reached on errors. Well, it's really almost bizarre how identical the situations were, as one run comes in and scores. Meanwhile, the runners advance from first and second to second and third. So it's now Collier on second, and it's Crosby on third base. Let's just go back through just how similar those two situations were that scored David Harris. Harris reached. He was the leadoff man in both innings. He reached both times on errors by the third baseman. The bases were loaded both times, and it was sacrifice flies that scored Harris on both occasions. Only 2 runs scored in this ballgame so far. 1-0 pitch now. Ryan Haug lifts this ball foul, third base side. And the count 1 ball and 1 strike. Really right toward our setup here in the broadcast booth, though it took an odd deflection down in front of us, and a young fan picks up a souvenir. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out. 2-0 Blue Crabs. They've doubled their lead here in the top of the 5th off of a sacrifice fly. 1-1 pitch. It's a little bit low, and the count 2 balls and 1 strike. Let's give you an update from around the Atlantic League as to where things stand with the score lines today. Mentioned this earlier, but Lexington and Gastonia are level at 1. Charleston over and Lancaster are level at 3. The pitch, this one, swinging a ground ball towards second. Second baseman Leidendorf playing back. That allows the run to score from third base. He throws to first to get the easy out. It's a ground out to the second baseman, Tyler Leidendorf, but it drives in another run as Crosby scores from third base. And the Blue Crabs have a 3-0 lead. The Blue Crabs don't have a hit still with runners in scoring position. They have 7 hits in the ballgame, but they've managed to score runs, trading runs with outs. The Blue Crabs have scored 3 runs, and they've traded 3 runs with 3 outs in this ballgame, a pair of sacrifice flies, and now a fielder's choice. Large lead for Collier off third with 2 outs in the top of the 5th. Pitch, swinging a ground ball toward the middle. Terrific stop by the second baseman Leidendorf, cutting up the middle and firing to first in time. Oh, what a terrific play by the second baseman Tyler Leidendorf. He steals a run as the Blue Crabs are retired. They strand 1 but score 2 at the end of 4.5 innings of play. It's the Blue Crabs 3 and the High Point Rockers nothing on the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network. Well, we go to the bottom of the 5th inning. It is 3-0 as the Southern Maryland Blue Crabs lead the High Point Rockers, and Michael Russell comes to the plate. First pitch from Daryl Thompson, a little bit upstairs in the count, 1 ball and no strikes on the righty Russell. Bottom of the 5th inning, the Blue Crabs scored 2 runs in the top of the 5th inning to take a 3-0 lead. Russell steps out of the batter's box before stepping back in. The 1-0 pitch, that's fouled back in the count, 1 ball and 1 strike on Russell. Well, it appears that it's Michael Russell, not Michael Martinez, who has come in today at third base. There was a last-moment lineup change for the High Point Rockers, and it appears it was just that. And the pitch now, this one swinging a ground ball over to first base. It's fielded by DeLuca. The flip to the pitcher, that's Daryl Thompson, and there's 1 away. Well, Daryl Thompson has been dealing especially recently. Let's run you back through those scores. We tried to go through them a couple of times. We should have time now as Jay Gonzalez now comes to the plate. And the pitch, this one swinging a quick line drive over to shortstop, and they're 2 away. Very quickly, 2 up and 2 down for Daryl Thompson here in the top of the 5th inning. A strong catch made by the shortstop, Michael Baca. And now 2 away in the top of the 5th. In the bottom of the 5th, the Blue Crabs still lead this one by a score of 3-0. It's taken just 3 pitches for Daryl Thompson to retire the first 2 batters. Here comes Mike Galino now. First pitch called strike in the count, no balls and 1 strike. Well, let's run through those scores now. Lexington and Gastonia still level at 1. And now the pitch, swinging a ground ball over to shortstop. Baca fields, he fires to first. It's a 5-pitch inning from Daryl Thompson. We've teased it for a while, so we're going to stay right here through the break and give you the update on the scores from across the Atlantic League. So let's try this one more time, one last time, I think, as we should be able to get through it this time during our commercial break. Blue Crabs ahead 3-0 after 5. So Gastonia and Lexington in a South Division matchup are level at 1. Charleston and Lancaster are currently in action. And they are in the bottom of the 4th inning. That game is level at 3. Lancaster 8-1 on the year. They're playing a Charleston team that is 3-6. And the game tied at 3 for now. Staten Island and York, it's a 2-1 lead for the Revs, who are 3-5 overall on the season. In the second half, at least that is. And they are on top of Staten Island. That's in the bottom of the 5th inning in York, Pennsylvania. High Point and Southern Maryland, the Blue Crabs have that 3-0 lead over the Rockers. And the last one, it's Wild Health and Long Island, and it's the Genomes who lead the Ducks 5-1. Long Island is in quite a bit of trouble. They find themselves 4.5 games back. Sure, it's still very early in the second half, but they played 8 to 9 games depending on the team, and at this point things are sort of starting to figure themselves out as to where these teams are going to be in the second half. And Lancaster and Staten Island have made note that they are the front runners right now. Southern Maryland are 3 games back, of course, having clinched the first half with a record-setting 48-18 record, 5-4 so far in the second half. As we go to the top of the 6th inning, Craig Stem back out on the mound after a very quick 1-2-3 inning from Daryl Thompson. We'll give you the update on some of the numbers in this ball game. Southern Maryland 3 runs on 7 hits. They made no errors so far. Meanwhile, High Point, no runs on 2 hits. They've committed 3 errors on the defensive end. Stem, 5 innings, 7 hits, 3 runs, no earned runs. First pitch is outside to the leadoff hitter. That's Braxton Lee. Braxton Lee had a terrific series against Staten Island. We'll give you the numbers on Lee in just one moment as the 1-0 pitch is away and the count 2 balls and no strikes on the lefty. Braxton Lee was 4 for 10 last series. 2-0 pitch, that's low and in the count 3 balls and no strikes. So far, walks haven't been a major issue for Stem. He's walked just 2 batters in this ballgame, but at a real risk of walking his 3rd batter. 3-0 pitch. That's in there for a called strike on the outer half of the plate. In the count, 3 balls and 1 strike. We've got a massive bug. I'm not sure if that's a wasp or if it's a cicada or a beetle of sorts. Either way, it is a massive bug. 3-1 pitch. That one is fouled back. In the count, 3 balls and 2 strikes now on Braxton Lee. Stem set. 3-2 pitch. Swinging a line drive back behind home plate once more into that protective netting. And the count remains 3 balls and 2 strikes. Lee was 4 for 6 in that doubleheader, 1 for 3 in Game 1, 3 for 3 in Game 2. Against High Point this season, hitting .333, but he's 2 for 3 in today's ball game. 3-2 pitch, that's low, it's ball 4. Braxton Lee works a leadoff walk. And Lee has found success at the top of the lineup. He's reached base 3 out of 4 times. The only time he didn't reach was back in the 1st inning. The Blue Crabs, since that 1st inning when they were shut down, have found ways to get base runners on. They have had a total of 13 base runners. They've only mustered 3 runs, and all 3 of those runs have been traded with outs. Pitch, swinging a high pop-up, first base side. It's the first baseman, Logan Morrison, who comes in foul territory and makes the catch. There is 1 away. 1 out on the top of the 6th. A leadoff walk was issued to Braxton Lee. And here comes the 3-hitter. That's Jared Walker. Walker taps home plate twice. Stem, the righty set. First pitch to Jared Walker. Upstairs. Oh, it's a called strike. One might have just been in at the letters. And the count, no balls and 1 strike. Oh, 1 delivery. Swinging a ground ball over to second. On to short for 1. Back on to first. The double play. Leidendorf to Alfonso to Morrison. 4-6-3. And that ends the top of the 6th inning. This ball game still a 3-0 scoreline as we go to the bottom of the 6th inning. Daryl Thompson is still dealing. Stick with us on the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network. Welcome back in the bottom of the sixth inning. We've got some shout-outs to get to on the air. It's a 3-0 Blue Crabs lead as Daryl Thompson returns to the mound for his sixth inning of work. No sign of anybody in the Blue Crabs bullpen. So it appears it is Thompson's game. The reigning Atlantic League Pitcher of the Year, or back-to-back reigning Atlantic League Pitcher of the Year, and he came into tonight's ball game having thrown 99 2/3 innings. So he hit the 100-inning mark in the first inning. First pitch is upstairs now, and the count 1 and no strikes on Giovanni Alfonso. 9-1-2 due up for the Rockers. Alfonso followed by Leidendorf and Aklinski. 1-0 pitch. That's upstairs in the count 2 and no strikes. So you mentioned this earlier, but the Blue Crabs sit 3 games back of Lancaster. And they are 2 games behind Staten Island. 2-0 pitch, called strike, and the count 2 and 1 strike. And what Staten Island's managed to do here in the second half is really noteworthy. It's a team that went 19-47 in the first half, but in the second half here are 7-2. 2-1 pitch, swinging a high pop-up, right field side, long run, and DeLuca can't quite get there. He was on the run and just came up a little bit late as there were 3 fielders converging down that right field line. Joe DeLuca, Braxton Lee, and Michael Wolanski, who was a little bit behind as the second baseman. He had a late jump to it. Either way, it falls in foul territory. So the count 2 and 2 strikes. Well, Daryl Thompson will have an opportunity for a strikeout now. Two-two pitch upcoming from Thompson. Swing and a miss, strike 3. It's his 6th strikeout of the ball game, and there is 1 away in the bottom of the 6th inning. Daryl Thompson has found a lot of success with the strikeouts, especially more recently. He was not picking up many strikeouts at all earlier this season, but the strikeouts have been coming lately. His last outing against York, Daryl Thompson had 7 strikeouts across 7 innings. And back on June 29th, he had 11 Ks across 7 innings. Up until that point, the strikeout numbers were quiet. First pitch swinging, foul back behind home plate by the leadoff hitter Tyler Leidendorf. Count no balls and 1 strike. Leidendorf is 0 for 2 in today's ball game. Just 2 hits across 18 at-bats for High Point. Thompson has not walked a batter and allowed, again, just those 2 base runners. 0-1 pitch, that's low and away, and the count 1 and 1 strike. Only 2 hits came back in the 3rd inning from Wheel and Russell. That's it. 1-1 pitch. Swinging, it's popped up, shallow right field. It's Braxton Lee who calls off the second baseman Wolanski and makes the catch down the right field line, and there are 2 away. So quickly, 2 up and 2 down in the bottom of the 6th. A strikeout to get things going for Thompson in the inning, and then a pop-up down the right field line. 3-0 Southern Maryland over High Point. Brings up the 2-hitter, Ben Aklinski, and this is where things get dangerous for the Rockers. Team that is very strong throughout the middle of their order. Between Aklinski, Morrison, Wheel, Lattimore, that's really the heart of that batting order. First pitch is low and away, and in the count 1 and no strikes. They don't actually have a batter who's hitting north of 300. Giovanni Alfonso came in hitting over 300, but now sits at 299. Aklinski at 280, and Jay Gonzalez at 284. 1-0 pitch, that's up and in. Count 2 and no strikes. And after allowing a couple of hits earlier in this ball game, he has been perfect over the last 3 innings. A 2-0 pitch foul back, count 2 and 1 strike. 2 1 strike, 2 outs. Thompson, 2-1 pitch. Swing and a miss, count 2-2. 2 2 strikes, 2 outs. Thompson, another opportunity for a strikeout here in the bottom of the 6th. Blue Crabs leading 3-0. Blue Crabs have had to trade 3 runs with 3 outs, but it's enough to hold a lead over High Point tonight. 3-0, the 2-2 pitch, I should say. On the ground is shortstop. It's Baca who fields. It's a strong throw to first. It's in time. He had to go up the middle and field it on the forehand. But the throw to first beats Ben Aklinski for the final out. It's another 1-2-3 inning for Daryl Thompson, who's been exceptional through 6. We go to the top of the 7th inning. The Blue Crabs still on top, 3-0. Well, we are back in the top of the 7th inning. The Blue Crabs have a 3-0 lead. David Harris leads things off. He's reached twice today. He's also scored twice today. Eerily similar situations. He reached on errors by the third baseman tonight, and there was a late change over at third base, as it is not Michael Martinez, but is Michael Russell at third. First pitch to David Harris is a little bit away, and the count 1 ball and no strikes. So what happened, you might have been asking, to David Harris? Well, he reached on 2 errors by Michael Russell. He then later reached third base with the bases loaded after back-to-back hits. On both occasions, it was driven in on sacrifice flies. 1-0 pitch. That's in there for a called strike. So Harris has scored 2 of the 3 Blue Crabs runs today, despite the fact he does not have a hit himself. Not every day you see a player score 2/3 of your runs when he's only reached on 2 errors. 1-1 pitch, swing and a miss. And the count 1 ball and 2 strikes. He chases a pitch low and out of the zone. And the count 1 ball and 2 strikes on the righty David Harris, who had a prolific performance in that last homestand. 9 for 18. Not to mention they drove in 9 RBIs as well. 1-2 pitch, that's fouled back. And the count remains 1 ball and 2 strikes in the top of the 7th inning. Well, Donnie Geeky mentioned, hey, Austin, where are you? We're at the game. Would love to say hello. 1-2 pitch upcoming to David Harris. And he swings and misses for strike 3. There's 1 away. Another pitch that was low and a little bit out of the zone from the new pitcher who's entered the ballgame, Chasen Bradford. Bradford has an 5.32 ERA, an 8.10 ERA across July, though. His last appearance at Lancaster, he went 1 1/3 innings, allowing 3 hits, 3 runs, and 2 earned. So Bradford has struggled recently, but he gets a strikeout to get things going against Harris. Well, back to the comment from Donnie. Well, I'm down the first baseline here. As we can see, we got a limited view. I'm inside the glass. If you'd like to come by between or during the 7th inning stretch and say hello, I'd love to say hello as well. Great to meet all of our listeners in person when we have the opportunity. First pitch is away for ball 1 on Alex Crosby. Now the 1-0 offering upcoming to the lefty. Pitch from Bradford is inbound. Breaking ball called strike, and the count 1 ball and 1 strike. Andrews says out of all the teams in the league, only the Rockers and the Dirty Birds have the better camera angles. There's some teams that have different camera angles for the home setup and the road setup, and unfortunately our setup here on the road is just marred by a very tough angle down the line. This one swinging a slow ground ball back to the mound. It's fielded by Bradford. He tosses to first, and there are 2 away. Well, Chasen Bradford has come into the game, and he has found success early. Now with Stem out of the game, we'll give you the full line on Craig Stem, the starter. 6 innings, 7 hits. He allows 3 runs, but all 3 runs were unearned from Craig Stem. And again, they were all due to the errors by the third baseman in this ball game, who was originally supposed to be Michael Martinez. It's instead Michael Russell. Martinez was a late scratch before the game. Pitch to Collier. That's a called strike. The count, no balls and 1 strike. This game just moving toward the 2-hour mark as we are just about midway through the 7th inning. Southern Maryland Blue Crabs have a 3-0 lead over High Point. They've traded 3 runs with 3 outs, 2 sac flies, and a fielder's choice. This one swinging a line drive into left field for a base hit. It's Zach Collier, who is on for the 2nd time tonight. He's now 2 for 4 in today's ball game. And the Blue Crabs have a runner on first base with 2 outs. Wouldn't be stunned to see Collier try to go ahead and steal second base. He's not someone who's found a ton of success stealing this year. Just 1 for 3, but we've seen his speed time and time again in the outfield. There's a reason he's put in center field. It's because he can cover a lot of ground. I think the Blue Crabs are just trying to find the right mix between the outfielders and the catching situation so that so that Zach Collier and Jack Sundberg can get as much time as possible while also having Jared Walker's bat in the lineup. First pitch to Joe DeLuca, that's low and in the count 1 ball and no strikes. Walker 0 for 3 in this game. He had a tough homestand, but the pop in his bat, the power, is one of the real differences. The only Blue Crab on this team with 10 or more home runs, and he has 13. Tossing over to first base, diving back in safely, it's Collier. While Bradford's had a tough year this year, he is someone who's had major league experience. He's actually pitched in Major League Baseball across 3 different seasons. 2017, 18, and 19. This one swinging a ground ball over to second. It's fielded by Leidendorf. The throw to first is in time. Well, the MLB veteran gets out of this inning unscathed. He surrenders a hit, but the Blue Crabs can't scratch across a run. Southern Maryland still leads this one 3-0 as we go to the 7th inning stretch on the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network. And Daryl Thompson back out for the bottom of the 7th inning. First pitch breaking ball, and it's fouled off his front foot from Logan Morrison, the lefty. And the count, no balls and 1 strike. Blue Crabs 3, and the High Point Rockers nothing. As Southern Maryland scored 1 run in the second on a sacrifice fly from Joe DeLuca, or from Ryan Haug at the time, that drove in David Harris. 0-1 delivery. Called strike, outside corner in the count, 0-2. The Blue Crabs then scored 2 more runs in the top of the 5th inning. That time it was a sacrifice fly from Joe DeLuca that drove in David Harris. The next batter, Ryan Haug, had a ground ball to second that brought in Alex Crosby. 0-2 pitch, swinging a line drive. It's right at the second baseman, Wolanski, though, who makes a terrific backhanded catch. And there is 1 away. Michael Wolanski shaded up toward the middle when he made that catch. It was a pretty hard-hit line drive off the bat of Logan Morrison, the 3-hitter, who has 11 home runs to his name. Here's Xander Wheel. He's got 18 homers to his name. But so far, just 2 hits in this ballgame. First pitch, swinging a hot shot into left field for a base hit. It deflected off of Baca's glove. And there's a runner on first base. It's the second hit for Wheel tonight. Now, it's a fast as a breaking ball, actually left out over the plate. And it took a weird line drive hop in front of the shortstop, Michael Baca. And Xander Wheel has found himself on. So runner on first base, 1 out. First pitch now. Called strike on the outside corner to Quincy Lattimore. And the count, no balls and 1 strike. The 0-1 pitch is low in the dirt, and the count, 1 ball and 1 strike now on Michael Martinez. That was the first base runner, Xander Wheel, since the 2nd inning. So that kind of a night for Daryl Thompson. He started strong and things just got better and better. 1-1 pitch, swinging a ground ball past the outstretched diving reach of Michael Wolanski into center field for a base hit. A single for Quincy Lattimore. This is a team that has only had 2 hits across the first 7 1/3 innings. They now have 2 hits and the last 2 batters. 2 on with 1 out for High Point. You have to wonder how much longer before the Blue Crabs have someone up and throwing. You'd have to imagine Andres Briseño is an option for the 8th. Though Stan Clyburn has been known to allow Daryl Thompson to go very deep into ball games. Pitch, swinging a high pop-up first base side. That finds the seats. Off the bat of not Michael Martinez. He got the start today. It's Michael Russell, who came in for Martinez due to the late scratch. Count, no balls and 1 strike on the righty. Daryl Thompson trying to work himself out of some trouble. 0-1 pitch, line drive towards center field. It's Collier who takes a couple of steps back and makes the catch about chest high for the 2nd out. So there are now 2 away in the bottom of the 7th inning. The Blue Crabs 3, the High Point Rockers nothing. And here comes Jay Gonzalez. Gonzalez, the center fielder, who bats from the left side. He does have a base hit in today's ball game. One of the 2 hits that High Point picked up back in the 2nd inning. First pitch, high pop-up foul, third base side. That gets into the seats. And the count, no balls and 1 strike. Well, the Blue Crabs scored a run in the top of the 2nd inning, added 2 in the 5th, and that's how they lead this one 3-0. Happy to have everybody with us tonight. With 2 away in the bottom of the 7th inning, the Blue Crabs looking to pick up a win as the first pitch is a called strike on Jay Gonzalez. Gonzalez, a lefty. Oh, 1 pitch. Upcoming from Thompson, trying to work himself out of a jam he's found himself in. He pops it up in the infield, but it's going to now tail back behind home plate, and Ryan Haug runs out of room. It was the catcher, Ryan Haug, who tried to make a play on that ball, but it was just out of his reach behind the protective netting. And now there are 2 away. Count no balls and 2 strikes. Thompson stares down at his catcher. It's Ryan Haug. Thompson set. 0-2 pitch. A little bit low in the count. 1 ball and 2 strikes now on Jay Gonzalez. Well, after surrendering 2 hits in the 2nd inning, Daryl Thompson went nearly 5 perfect innings from there. Actually retired 14 consecutive before allowing a second hit to Xander Wheel. This one swinging a line drive to left field. It's in there for a base hit. Rounding third and scoring a run, it's Wheel. It's a 3-1 ball game as Jay Gonzalez knocks a base hit into left field. And it scores a run as Wheel was on second base and he came around to score. It's now a 3-1 ball game as the High Point Rockers find themselves on the board in the bottom of the 7th inning. There's finally a little more action in the Blue Crabs bullpen. A lot of stretching and moving around. No one up and throwing yet. You also have to wonder, what are the options for the Blue Crabs? Wells went yesterday. They platooned him with Geeky. Geeky went 3 1/3 innings. He really pitched quite well. The stats will show that he allowed 2 runs, but he went 3 innings, having allowed no hits and just 1 walk. This one swinging a ground ball over to shortstop. Baca flips to third for the lead out and the final out in the inning. He was moving over toward third base with his momentum, so he ended up throwing that ball forward toward Crosby, who was standing on third base and covering to get the lead out on Quincy Lattimore. That ends the 7th inning. The High Point Rockers pick up 3 hits of the inning and score 1 run. It's now a 3-1 ball game as we go to the top of the 8th inning on the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network. Well, we are back in the top of the 8th inning. A pitching change for the High Point Rockers as Bryce Hensley enters the ballgame. Hensley comes in with a 2.31 ERA. He's actually a starter turned reliever. First pitch, swinging a line drive into left field for a base hit off the bat of Ryan Haug, who has his second base hit of the day. Ryan Haug actually with 2 hits. He also has 2 RBIs. Had a sacrifice fly and a fielder's choice. And he picks up another hit here in the top of the 8th inning. Here comes Michael Baca. Baca 0 for 3 today. Your top performers today, Alex Crosby is 2 for 3. And Zach Collier 2 for 4. First pitch breaking ball called strike on Michael Baca on the count, no balls and 1 strike. The Blue Crabs had a 3-0 lead until the bottom of the 7th when things started to change as the Blue Crabs surrendered 3 consecutive hits. Daryl Thompson had retired 14 consecutive coming in. As the 0-1 pitch, Michael Baca misses on the bunt. The count 0-2. It's rare you see a batter completely miss on a bunt. Usually he'll get a bit of a piece of it or he'll manage to pull back in time before the umpire calls him for it. But it's called a swinging strike on Baca in the count 0-2. Haug on first base with nobody out. Top of the 8th inning. 0-2 pitch. And it comes upstairs and he bunts foul. And that's going to be... Is that only going to be strike 2? Oh, no, that's strike 3. I think that there was a disagreement with how many strikes there were. The count was right. It was 0-2. Baca thought he was still alive for some reason. I'm not sure why he was bunting on 2 strikes. Either way, there's 1 out. I don't know the last time I saw a batter go out on a foul bunt either. Either way, the Blue Crabs have a runner on first base now and 1 out following the foul third bunt. Foul third strike on a bunt, I should say. Braxton Lee comes to the plate. He's hitting .310 on the year, and Hensley fires over to first to check on Haug. Braxton Lee is 2 for 3 in today's ball game after going 0 for 4 yesterday. He's a pure contact guy. There's no question about it. That's what Braxton Lee is. Has not hit a home run yet this year, but he's someone who can really get good contact on a lot of balls. A line drive, gap-to-gap hitter. As the first pitch is a called strike on the outside corner. The count 0-1. A lot of singles, too. Had a couple of really deep fly balls, nearly homered about 3 times this year as the 0-1 pitch drops in for a called strike on a breaking ball. And the count 0-2. Bryce Hensley is not going to overpower you with his velocity. Fastball in the upper 80s. But he's ahead 0-2. First pitch strike down the middle and a second pitch breaking ball in the outer half. Runner on first base, 1 out, 3-1 Blue Crabs. 0-2 pitch, line drive, foul, third base side. And the count remains no balls and 2 strikes. Braxton Lee, the only batter for the Blue Crabs with Major League Baseball experience. Back in 2018 with the Miami Marlins. Back in 2017 at the AA level, hit .321. 0-2 pitch, swing and a miss, strike 3. Well, Braxton Lee goes down swinging on a high fastball, and there are 2 away in the top of the 8th inning. Well, there is action in the Blue Crabs bullpen. It's Andres Briseño who is up and throwing. He was throwing from distance, and now he's throwing off the mound. And I'd be very surprised if the Blue Crabs did not go to Geeky, or beg your pardon, to Briseño in the inning. This one popped up, first base side, a long run for the first baseman Morrison, and he runs out of room. And the count, no balls and 1 strike on Michael Wolanski. Wolanski 1 for 3 today. 4 for 5 in game 2 of that doubleheader. Also had a hit in yesterday's ball game. 0-1 pitch on the ground over toward third base. And it's going to get through for a base hit through the left side. I have a bit of a limited view here down the right field side. And my angle was cut off. I did not see it actually got all the way through for a single. And the Blue Crabs now have runners on first and second with 2 outs. Blue Crabs have not managed to drive in a run with a base hit tonight. A base hit, a home run, any sort of hit. They've scored 3 runs. They've had 16 base runners. All 3 runs have been traded with outs as Jared Walker comes to the plate. First pitch to Jared Walker, swinging a ground ball over towards shortstop. This should do it. Throw to first is in time. A strong throw from Giovanni Alfonso ends the inning. The Blue Crabs with another hit in the inning. They strand 2 at the end of 7.5. It's the Blue Crabs 3 and the High Point Rockers 1 on the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network. We go to the bottom of the 8th when we come back. Well, we are back in the bottom of the 8th inning, 3-1 Blue Crabs, and I thought Briseno would probably be entering the ball game. It turns out he's not, despite the fact he's been throwing for the last 10 minutes or so, and throwing at high velocity at that. It's Daryl Thompson who comes back for the bottom of the 8th inning. He's already gone 7 innings, 96 pitches, allowed 1 run on 5 hits, but that 7th inning was a struggle for Thompson. He allowed 3 hits and the lone run so far in this ballgame. Giovanni Alfonso gets things started. First pitch, swing and a miss, and the count, no balls and 1 strike. Alfonso batting 9th. He'll be followed by Tyler Ladendorf and Ben Aklinski. 0-1 offering from Daryl Thompson. Swing and a miss yet again, count 0-2. He's gone after Alfonso twice on the outer half of the plate, just barely clipping that corner, and that's what Thompson does so well is he pinpoints those pitches. It's a perfect location. 0-2 offering. It's away, and the count 1 ball and 2 strikes. 1 ball, 2 strikes, nobody out. In the bottom of the 8th inning, 9-1-2 to the plate for High Point. 1-2 pitch. Swinging a ground ball foul, third base side. And the count remains 1 ball and 2 strikes. Well, Thompson by no means is foreign to going far into ball games. I mean, this is sort of what he has always done. He threw 122 pitches against Long Island. That was back on May 20th. Thompson, the 1-2 pitch. Just a little bit up and away in the count. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Home plate umpire Kevin Morgan making the call for ball 2. Alfonso has led things off here in the bottom of the 8th. The pitch count now has hit 100 for Thompson. This one swinging a line drive into center field. It's a base hit. Right back up the middle, and there's a runner on first base. And nobody out, and you have to wonder if that's going to be the end of the line for Daryl Thompson. And manager Stan Clyburn comes out to the mound. He signals to the bullpen. There is a call to the bullpen. Andres Briseño will enter the game. It's a runner on first base and nobody out in the top of the 8th. Blue Crabs lead at 3-1. We've got a pitching change. We'll step aside when we come back. We'll break down the numbers on Andres Briseño. Well, we are back in the bottom of the 8th inning. It's a 3-1 lead for the Blue Crabs as Tyler Ladendorf, the leadoff hitter, comes in. As there's a pitching change as Andres Briseño comes to the mound with a runner on first base and nobody out. Briseño's numbers on the season, they jump off the page. There's no question about that. 4-0, a 0.88 ERA, a 0.82 whip. This guy throws 95 to 97 with the fastball. First pitch, ground ball, hard hit, left field side, but foul. Ladendorf was on top of that fastball. On the count, no balls and 1 strike. Ladendorf hitting .252 overall in the year. 0 for 3 in today's ball game. That was probably the hardest hit ball that Andres Briseño has allowed in the last month plus. As Ladendorf got a really good piece on that one, but it was foul on the count. No balls in one strike. Here's the 0-1 Opry. Swinging a high fly ball, left field deep. That ball is tailing foul as well, and it gets out of play. But a very well-hit ball on back-to-back pitches from Tyler Ladendorf. Hard ground ball down the third base line, and then a high fly ball to left field. But the count, no balls and 2 strikes. Ladendorf ahead on both of them. That last one, 96 miles an hour. But Ladendorf was all over it. Either way, Briseño actually ahead in the count, 0-2. Pitch, swinging a ground ball towards short. Baca fields on the backhand. A second for 1. Back on to first. Not in time. Very close play at first base. Nearly a double play on Tyler Ladendorf. But the Blue Crabs get the lead out. And there's a runner on first base with 1 out. 3-1 game. High Point got a run back in the bottom of the 7th inning. A couple more shout-outs to get to. Wes Bumper says, get back on the train, guys. Getting steamed, your 2022 North Division first half champion, Stellar Maryland Blue Crabs. Let's go. And it's right on that. No question about that one. And here comes the 2-hitter. It's Ben Aklinski. First pitch, breaking ball a little bit low and away on a slider in the count. 1 ball and no strikes. Briseño uses 3 pitches. He's got that breaking ball. It's just a slider. It comes in low, mid-80s. And then he's got the changeup around 87 as the 1-0 pitch. That's low. Another breaking ball on the count. 2 balls and no strikes. And it's just a little bit low on back-to-back pitches, but there's a runner on first base and 1 out. 2-0 pitch upcoming to Aklinski. Here's the offering. Just outside. Count 3-0. If there's one thing that Briseño struggled with at all, it would be the control. Across 30 and 2/3 innings, he has walked 13 batters, which is not a ton, but it's an average of about 4 walks per night. Ideally, you want to be right around 2 or 3 or lower. 3-0 pitch. That's low. That's ball 4. He lost control on the fastball. And so there are runners on first and second with 1 out. The tying run is on the bases. The go-ahead run will come to the plate. Well, Andres Briseño has thrown 7 pitches, 3 strikes, and 4 balls. As Logan Morrison, the 3-hitter, comes to the plate. And again, things don't get any easier from here. Morrison will be followed by Wheel and Lattimore. All 3 of these guys have double-digit home runs on the year. Morrison 10, Wheel 18, and Lattimore 11. Briseño, first pitch to Morrison, and it's a called strike at the letters, a breaking ball. It stayed up. Count no balls and 1 strike on the lefty. Briseño stares down at his catcher. It's Ryan Howe. He gets the sign. 0-1 pitch upcoming. Here's the offering. Swing and a miss. Breaking ball. And he gets Morrison swinging. And Andres Briseño has been highly reliant upon these breaking balls. Back-to-back sliders. First one up for a strike. The second one down for a strike. He's had the ability to really mix up those pitches effectively. Has not thrown many fastballs. One of the fastballs he did throw was really well hit to the left side. 0-2 pitch from Briseño. Inbound. Swing and a miss, strike 3. High fastball gets Logan Morrison chasing there, 2 away. Big strikeout for Andres Briseño after walking Ben Aklinski on 4 pitches. He climbs the ladder and goes upstairs for a strikeout on Logan Morrison. For Andres Briseño, that is strikeout number 50 on the season. But there are runners on first and second with 2 outs. Blue Crabs leading 3-1. From second, it's Giovanni Alfonso. At first, it's Ben Aklinski. First pitch, low in the dirt, gets away from Ryan Haugen and allows both runners to advance. A big-time break for the High Point Rockers, who now have the tying run in scoring position. It's just the ball low in the dirt, but it's smart base running by both Giovanni Alfonso and Ben Aklinski. And so there are 2 in scoring position with 2 out. Count 1-0 on Xander Wheel, who is one of the most dangerous hitters in the Atlantic League with 18 home runs. 1-0 pitch. It's a called strike on the outside corner in the count 1-1. One ball, 1 strike, 2 outs. One offering. Swing and a check swing in the dirt. Haug holds up. They motion down to first base, but Bradley Moffitt said he did not go around. Two balls, 1 strike, 2 outs. Xander Wheel, 61 RBIs. He has an OPS that's just shy of 1,000. 2 hits in today's game, 2 for 3. Andres Briseño's got to deal with him with 2 runners in scoring position and 2 out in the bottom of the 8th. Tying run on base, the go-ahead run at the plate. This one popped up in foul territory. Long run for Ryan Haug, who's going to run out of room as that ball bounces on top of the Rockers' dugout. The count even at 2 balls and 2 strikes. 3 of the 4 pitches to Wheel, breaking balls. That most recent one, a fastball. You do have to wonder, though, is he going to go back upstairs here, maybe go back with the fastball? Two balls, 2 strikes, 2 out with 2 on. Blue Crabs lead by 2. 2's all across the board. Andres Briseño looking to send the Rockers down in order. Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. A pair of strikeouts from Andres Briseño. He does walk one, but he gets out of a jam, and the Blue Crabs still lead this one 3-1 as we go to the top of the 9th inning on the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network. Welcome back in the top of the ninth inning as it's David Harris who comes to the plate. For the fifth time tonight, he does not have a hit on this ball game as the first pitch is a called strike. And the count, no balls and one strike in the top of the ninth. I'll give you the numbers on David Harris in just one moment. Pitch, this one swinging a two-hopper over to third base. Strong throw across the diamond from Michael Russell. It's in time, and there's one away. And 0 for 5 day for David Harris. He did manage to score 2 runs. But either way, there's one away in the top of the ninth. The Blue Crabs have had 10 hits today. They've also received 3 free passes. That's good for 13 base runners. And then add on to that 3 errors, and you get yourself to 16 base runners for the Blue Crabs in this ball game. And they've scored how many? Just 3 runs today. First pitch, swinging a high pop-up to center field. It's the center fielder, Jay Gonzalez, there. And there are 2 away. Well, Blue Crabs managed to trade runs with outs when it counted. With 1 out and the bases loaded in the second inning, Ryan Haug hit a sacrifice fly to drive in David Harris. In the 5th inning, with the bases loaded once more, it was Joe DeLuca who drove in yet again David Harris on a sacrifice fly, and then Alex Crosby came home and scored on a fielder's choice from Ryan Haug. First pitch, up and away in the count, 1 ball and no strikes. All 3 runs have involved either David Harris or Ryan Haug in today's ball game. The fact that the Blue Crabs have 10 hits and have not driven in a run with a hit is very surprising. 1-0 pitch way upstairs to Zach Collier in the count, 2 balls and no strikes. Running through some of the better performances today. Lee is 2 for 4, Wolanski 2 for 5, Crosby 2 for 4, Collier 2 for 4, and DeLuca and Haug are both 1 for 3. Funny enough, the player who has scored 2 runs is one of only 3 players without a hit today. 2-0 pitch, called strike, in the count, 2 balls and 1 strike with 2 outs in the top of the ninth. Two-one offering, swing and a miss, count 2-2. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Blue Crabs lead this one by 2 in the top of the ninth inning as the Blue Crabs have Matt Latos warming up in the bullpen. Two-two pitch, swinging a high fly ball, left field line. This one tailing, and it gets foul and out of play. And the count remains 2 balls and 2 strikes with 2 outs. And Zach Collier has been good, especially recently. And he's a player who hit incredibly well last year, a .327 batting average for Zach Collier, one of the top 3 all-time batting averages among qualifiers for the Blue Crabs across an entire season. Also had an OPS north of 1,000. 2-2 pitch, that's away in the count, 3 balls and 2 strikes. Bryce Hensley back for his 2nd inning of work. Three-two upcoming to Collier. Pitch, swing and a miss, strike 3. Only took 10 pitches to retire the Blue Crabs in order here in the top of the ninth. We go to the bottom of the ninth inning. It's Matt Latos who will try to finish off the High Point Rockers. Blue Crabs ahead by 2, looking for their 6th win in the second half. Stick with us in the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network. Well, we bring you back in the bottom of the ninth inning. It's Quincy Lattimore who will lead things off for the High Point Rockers, who send 5, 6, and 7 to the plate against Matt Latos, who comes in with a 5.33 ERA. Last time out for Matt Latos was yesterday when he went an inning of work, and he allowed just one walk. He also struck out one. First pitch is a called strike on Lattimore. On the count, no balls and 1 strike. Latos has struggled more recently in the month of July, but he had a good performance last time out. 0-1 pitch upcoming from Matt Latos. Here's the offering. Breaking ball low. In the count, 1 ball and 1 strike. It's a good breaking ball from Latos. A first pitch, according to our TrackMan technology, a generous call from home plate umpire Kevin Morgan. 1-1 pitch upcoming to Quincy Lattimore. Swinging a high pop-up, foul back behind home plate. That first pitch, according to our TrackMan, was a little bit low and outside, but good enough for the strike for Kevin Morgan. 1 ball, 2 strikes, nobody out. Latos stares down at his catcher, Ryan Haug. 1-2 pitch. Swinging a slow grounder, first base side. And the count remains 1 ball and 2 strikes. Lattimore 1 for 3. Michael Russell on deck. He's 1 for 3 as well. And Jay Gonzalez is 1 for 3 with an RBI. Those are the 3 due up in this inning that will face off against Matt Latos. 1-2 pitch. Swinging a ground ball past the outstretched reach, deflecting off the glove of Michael Baca and into center field. Collier charging in to hold Quincy Lattimore at a single. But there's a runner on first base now and nobody out. That's the 7th hit of the game for the High Point Rockers. High Point had 6 hits off of Blue Crab starter Daryl Thompson. Andres Briseño allowed a walk, but he pitched an inning without allowing a run or a hit. And now a single as the Rockers have the tying run to the plate with Michael Russell. Big righty, first pitch. A little bit upstairs in the count, 1 ball and no strikes. Bottom of the 9th inning. Nobody out. Runner on first base for High Point as they try to get back in this ball game. Matt Latos on the year, 19 out of 23 in saves. 1-0 pitch upstairs in the count, 2 balls and no strikes. Two balls, no strikes, no outs. Latos. Arm behind his back. Now in his glove, he's set at the belt. 2-0 pitch. Swinging a pop-up. First base side, it's going to get to the seats. Count 2 balls and 1 strike. Latos throwing in the low 90s. 90, 91 on the fastball. That last one came in just shy of 90. 2-1 delivery. Line drive, first base side, foul yet again. And the count, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Nobody out in the bottom of the 9th inning. Matt Latos, the 10-year MLB veteran, Was a starter throughout his career, now a closer. The pitch, that's low. The count now 3 balls and 2 strikes on Michael Russell. Three balls, 2 strikes. Runner on first base. Latos set, pitch. It's popped up yet again, foul. And Michael Russell working a marathon at bat. The wave has started to go here at Truist Point Park. From first base, it's Quincy Lattimore. The pitch, swinging a line drive into left field. It's a base hit. Back-to-back hits from Lattimore and Russell. There are 2 on and nobody out in the bottom of the 9th inning. And Matt Latos has found himself in a jam after back-to-back hits. Fastball, middle in. He ropes it to left. Michael Russell on first. Quincy Lattimore on second. Nobody out. Jay Martinez to the plate. First pitch, he squares around a bunt, pulls back. It's low and in the count. 1 ball and no strikes. This year for Matt Latos, in the month of July, 9 ERA, allowed 4 earned runs across 4 innings. Allowed 2 against Charleston and 2 more against York. Pitch, this one's bunted, foul from Jay Gonzalez, third base side. And the count 1 ball and 1 strike. Nobody out, tying run on base, winning run at the plate for High Point. Jay Gonzalez is due to be followed by Mike Galino and Giovanni Alfonso. One, bunt yet again, third base side, and once more it's foul on the count 1 and 2. Nobody out in the bottom of the 9th inning. Matt Latos worked a very deep count against Michael Russell, and Russell ended up winning the battle with an RBI, with not an RBI, with just a regular single to left. Quincy Lattimore, the batter prior, had a ground ball towards shortstop, deflected off of Baca's glove up the middle. 1-2 offering. Swinging a chopper over towards short, charging in Baca, throw to first, is in time. It's an all-important first out as there's 1 away in the bottom of the 9th inning. Runners on second and third, though, as Quincy Lattimore to third. Michael Russell, the tying run, is now in scoring position with just 1 out. Mike Galino now to the plate. The last thing that High Point wants to do here is run that lead runner into an out. So I think they might be awfully cautious, honestly, with Quincy Lattimore at third base. It's a ball that might get a little away from how maybe normally you'd send him. Probably won't send him in this case. Because if he is thrown out, then the runner on second base, Russell, is no longer the tying run. But if there's a point like a base hit and you can send Russell, I would not be at all surprised they're going to force that second runner home. So he would tie the game. First pitch, check swing, it's low. And he held up according to the third base umpire, Marcus Neal. As Jerry Downs actually comes in to pinch hit for Mike Galino. Downs a .274 hitter. He also has 10 home runs on the year. One of 4 Rockers batters in double digits in home runs. 1-0 pitch, tap foul first base side, count 1-1. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out, 2 on for the High Point Rockers in the bottom of the 9th inning. Runners on second and third. High Point looking to pick up their first win in the second half. They come into this one 0-8. 1-1 pitch, swinging a high fly ball, left field, sliding and making a terrific catch. It's Jared Walker tagging from third and scoring a run. It's Quincy Lattimore. This is a 3-2 ball game, but a sliding catch made by Jared Walker has kept this game at a 3-2 ball game as opposed to that scoring the tying run. Line drive by Jerry Downs and a terrific catch by Jared Walker. Walker has been the first baseman for the most part this season, but he plays in left field from time to time. Jack Sundberg has been in left field more than anybody else this year. But today, it's Jared Walker, who's been at first base for quite some time, and he comes up with a major defensive play to keep this at a 3-2 ball game. 2 outs now. Bottom of the 9th inning. Giovanni Alfonso hitting .303 on the season, steps in from the right side. First pitch, a little bit low, and the count 1 ball and no strikes. Alfonso, the winning run. The tying run is at second base. That's Michael Russell. Lattimore led the inning off with a single. Russell followed him with a base hit. 1-0 pitch, that's low, and the count 2 balls and no strikes. From there, it was Jay Gonzalez, who had a high chopper to shortstop. Michael Baca fielded, he threw to first. Got the out at first base, but allowed the 2 runners to advance. And then Jerry Downs with a sacrifice fly to bring in Quincy Lattimore. Count 2 balls and no strikes. Runner on second base, here's the pitch. Swinging a high fly ball, right field, foul. And the count, 2 balls and 1 strike. 2 balls, 1 strike, 2 outs. Bottom 9, Blue Crabs, 3 runs on 10 hits, no errors. For High Point, 2 runs on 8 hits with 3 errors. Matt Latos trying to hold off the Rockers here in the bottom of the 9th. It's got Blue Crabs fans holding their breath. 2-1 pitch. Just outside, count 3-1. 3 balls, 1 strike with 2 outs on Alfonso. After this is back to the top of the order with Tyler Ladendorf. Alfonso does not have a ton of power, but he does have 19 RBIs this year, and he has a strong .303 batting average, best on this Rockers team. 3-1 pitch. Swing and a miss, strike 2. Fastball was probably off the outer edge, but Alfonso wanted a base hit. He wanted to tie this game. Count 3-2 on Alfonso. 2 away. Runner on second base. Blue Crabs ahead 3-2. Quite a few fans here at Truist Point Park standing. 3-2 pitch. Swinging a line drive foul, right field side. This one headed right toward us. On a hard line drive, got some fans out of the way. Well, the fans are making quite a bit of noise here. It's about as loud as it's gotten all night. Runner on second base, 2 outs. Blue Crabs ahead 3-2. 3-2 pitch from Latos. Line drive, right field, foul yet again. Alfonso just behind on the 90-mile-an-hour fastball. Now, first base is open, but it's not really all that open because that would put the winning run on base. Not something that Latos would like to do with the top of the order coming up. Tying run remains at second. 3-2 pitch. Swinging a ground ball. Fielded by the shortstop. Baca, he throws to first, and that ends it. Blue Crabs winners tonight. The tying run was in scoring position with 1 out in the 9th inning, but Matt Latos survives. He works around a tough jam. He surrenders 1 run, but he picks up the save, and the Blue Crabs win this one 3-2. Oh boy, was that a hard-fought win for the Blue Crabs. There were a lot of areas for Southern Maryland they probably would have liked to improve. Hitting with runners in scoring position, certainly one of them, but they eke out a win tonight nonetheless. 3 runs on 10 hits with 16 base runners for the Blue Crabs, and all 3 runs come in trading runs with outs. Pair of sac flies and a fielder's choice, enough to get the job done for the Blue Crabs in the 3-2 victory. Well, let's run back through parts of this game. All the scoring plays, a couple of key producers, as well as the numbers for the Blue Crabs pitchers tonight. Let's start with some of those scoring plays in tonight's ball game. Blue Crabs started the scoring with the bases loaded and 1 out. Ryan Haug hit a fly ball toward left field. It drove in David Harris. In the top of the 5th, it was Joe DeLuca who hit a sacrifice fly to right. That brought in Harris as well. It gave the Blue Crabs a 2-0 lead. The next batter, Ryan Howe, grounded out to second base. And that allowed the runner on third base, Alex Crosby, to score a run and give the Blue Crabs a 3-0 lead. Blue Crabs had held that 3-0 lead from the top of the 5th until the 7th inning. With runners on first and second, Jay Gonzalez roped a single into right. And High Point cut the deficit to 3-1. In the bottom of the 9th inning was Jerry Downs, who had a sacrifice fly to left, brought in Quincy Lattimore, and made it a 3-2 ball game. And the High Point Rockers still had that runner on second base. It was Michael Russell, who had singled earlier in the inning, but not enough to come back and tie this game. Could not get a hit from Giovanni Alfonso. Had a ground ball toward the middle, but Baca covers ground effectively. He made the throw to first base. Let's go through some of the top producers for the Blue Crabs. We'll go through some of the final scores as well from today's games in the Atlantic League, as well as the pitching performances for the Blue Crabs tonight. Lee, 2 for 4 tonight. He also walked once, reached base 3 out of 5 times. Michael Wolanski was 2 for 5. He did strike out twice. Walker 0 for 4. He walked once today. David Harris was 0 for 5, but he scored 2 runs. Alex Crosby 2 for 4 today. He walked once. He also scored a run. Zach Collier 2 for 5. Joe DeLuca 1 for 3. He had an RBI as part of a sacrifice fly in the 5th inning. Ryan Haug also 1 for 3. He drove in 2 runs, one on a ground out to second, the other on a sacrifice fly to left. Michael Baca 0 for 4 in today's ball game. Now the pitchers for the Southern Maryland Blue Crabs. Daryl Thompson goes 7 innings of work tonight. He allows 6 hits and 1 run. He strikes out 6. He worked into the 8th inning. He allowed a leadoff single, and Endres Briseño then entered. After a strikeout, Briseño did walk a batter, and he came back, worked a fly out and another strikeout to give the Blue Crabs a 3-1 lead going into the 9th inning. Matt Latos then allowed back-to-back base hits to get things started. The runners advanced to second and third on a ground out to short. They had 2 in scoring position with 1 out. A sacrifice fly did score 1 run, but Latos picks up the save as he managed to strand Michael Russell on second base as the Blue Crabs finished victorious tonight by a score of 3-2. Let's go through some of the scores from around the Atlantic League as the Southern Maryland Blue Crabs look to push closer back toward the top of the North Division. Lexington and Gastonia in the South Division, they're even at 1. That game suspended in the top of the 7th inning due to rain. Charleston and Lancaster, that one in the bottom of the 8th right now, but the Charleston Dirty Birds have a 6-4 lead over the Lancaster Barnstormers. That would be big news for the Blue Crabs, as that would cut the deficit to 2 games in the North Division as the Blue Crabs move to 6-4 in the second half. Staten Island and York, that one's still ongoing, but Staten Island, they can hold on in the bottom of the 8th. They're ahead 9-5, would be tied for the division lead in the North Division as both teams would move to 8-2. Of course, the Blue Crabs winners over High Point 3-2. The Wild Health Genomes take down the Long Island Ducks 5-0. With York losing today, if they do end up actually losing, they're down by a score of 9-5. If they end up losing, they'd fall to 3-6 along with Long Island, and they would remain 4.5 games back of the division lead. A win today and a loss from Lancaster would push the Blue Crabs back within 2 games, as the Blue Crabs would be 6-4, and the top of the division would be 8-2. Let's give you an idea of what tomorrow holds, as the Blue Crabs will be back here for Game 2 of this series. Alex Marathew will go for the Blue Crabs. He's 1-1. He'll be making his 4th start with the Blue Crabs. Last time out, 7 2/3, 8 hits, 5 runs, 4 earned. He walked 3 and struck out 4. He'll be going up against Liam O'Sullivan, who's 0-1 on the year with a 4.50 ERA. Mitch Lampson to go for the Blue Crabs in Game 3. He's 5-4 with a 4.15 ERA. He'll be going up against Ivan Pinero for the Rockers. Blue Crabs winners tonight by a score of 3-2. That will do it from us here on the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network. We apologize for some of the technical difficulties that we encountered throughout the evening, and tomorrow hopefully we'll be able to have a full broadcast with High Point's feed and everything. But for now, that will do it from us here on the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network. Austin Rooney signing off, as always, with Let's Go Blue Crabs.